looking towards either rookie drafts or even depending on if they're in dynasty leagues or redraft leagues, those will start kicking up now. Have you had any of your fantasy leagues start up yet?
No, I haven't. It's too early yet for me to want to think fantasy drafts quite yet. Just for the purpose of so many things can happen between now and then, injuries, um, people getting either released, traded, more people getting signed, and somebody might lose their starting job. So I normally like July, mid July is when I usually sit down and I start focusing more or less on sitting there and doing my drafts and doing my mock drafts and whatnot. But sometimes it's hard to even do mock drafts because some people just don't take it seriously. So it's
Right.
like you're not really sure what you're really expecting because there's been times I've been in a mock draft and they draft like a defense like the 8th round, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, agreed. And there's some guys that just do that on purpose, which makes some mock drafts not fun. But while we're still waiting for some people to come in, um, you guys can follow us either here on Twitch or over at Twitter at PA Fantasy Sports. I know Sean, you said something to me about cleaning up the Instagram. I've started working on that. I'll try to be more active over there as well. But yeah, we have some DraftKings things set up. Why don't you say a little bit about that here?
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna start setting up some leagues. Um, Pretty soon you'll be able to. I'll be able to start setting them up. People can join early if they want. Um, we were gonna do a USFL one, but it's so complicated with USFL just for the fact of you can't really predict who could have a good game and what quarterback might start, even what running back might start. So we decided not to go that route. But once football starts up, it'll be fun times to be able to do week to week lineups against people instead of having to do full season and having to worry about if this guy's going to be able to have a great season or great year, and then this person you can just worry about having a great week and being more or less enjoying football instead of being on a competitive side and having to focus on football for a whole year instead of just a week to week.
Yeah, so let me go back over here and reset this. Okay, it did work. It wasn't updating on my end. I put the links. If you're not signed up for DraftKings, there's a link there to sign up. We both get a little. Uh, they change it up, but they usually give a promotion. But if you are signed up for DraftKings already, Sean set the league up, so you guys can hop into that, and then this way you get notified when he does start setting up the league. So, guys, check that out as well. We have started sharing some of our fantasy projections. We have quarterbacks. Let's see, we've done quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and we've touched on tight ends a little bit. But I want to show. I'm going to start making these available. I'm about 70% comfortable with this stuff, with our projection numbers, that is. But let me put this up on the screen. And these will be available for you guys to look at. I'll post them in the chat as well. So you guys, right now, this is our top 20 projected quarterbacks. I still have to add some things to this page here. Average draft position would be nice to have on this page as well. Sean, looking at what I have there for the stats, anything else we should be adding?
No, I mean, other than the average draft position, I think that's a key thing for people. They want to be able to see that and know where that when they have snake drafts, they know where about when someone's going to get drafted. Obviously, if people are doing salary drafts or dynasty leagues, they're a lot different because the worst quarterback in the league could get put on the board right off the bat and be done with already. So it all depends on what the people want in those leagues. Um, but in the snake leagues, you kind of want to know when you should be drafting this position, and in the matter of how many man leagues you're playing, that could be a key piece.
Yeah. So, but yeah, let's take a quick look. We're still waiting for some people to show up. So let's recap. Right now, just this page is just our top 20. I don't know. Do you think in fantasy leagues, depending on what's going on, do you think more quarterbacks than 20 get drafted?
I would say right about 20 normally, depending if you're in a 10-man league, you're going to have 20 quarterbacks easily drafted just for sole purposes, most people are going to want 2 quarterbacks. If you're in a 12-man league, obviously a lot more than 20 are probably going to get drafted because a lot of people are going to want backups. They're not going to roll solely on one quarterback, especially with buys and injuries. So you might see upwards around 26, 28 in those kind of leagues. In an 8-man league, you're looking at probably about 15 to 18 drafted, just because some people might triple up on quarterbacks. But most people just, get the starter and then either roll with him for the year since it's only an 8-man league. You can have plenty of backups, or they draft heavy and kind of roll with their quarterbacks right at the bat.
Yeah, and like I've said, I'm only about 70% where I feel comfortable with my projections. Like looking at this list here, I think Carr is too low. I think he should be higher than 17. And Trey Lance is too high. Being at 15, he might not even get the starting job in San Francisco. Your thoughts on those two guys and where I have them ranked currently?
Yeah, and I also look at people like Deshaun Watson. We're not really sure what's going to come about with him.
Right.
And you got people like Trevor Lawrence, second year. He's a sophomore. What kind of year does he have? And then obviously Derek Carr. I think he has a big year. I mean, it's a make or break pretty much season for him now. They went and got him the weapons he wanted. You can't have any excuses now on why you can't win.
Right, agreed. So let's take a look. I don't know what to expect from Burrow. I know Cincinnati was able to get to the Super Bowl last year, and they added help on the offensive line. So your thoughts right now? I mean, like I said, we're only here May 19th. Burrow 12, too low.
I would say that's right about where he's probably going to be, just because there's so many other quarterbacks that are available and have better years. Burrow has a lot of the turnover ratio to touchdowns. So if he can knock off the amount of turnovers he averages a game, then I think he has a better overall season. And then he might be able to be inside the top 10. But with the quarterbacks inside the top 10, they're more mobile or they throw a lot more. So I just don't see Joe Burrow getting inside the top 10, really. I think it'll be a struggle, just with the amount of quarterbacks that are ahead of him. I think are all going to be pretty much your mobile quarterbacks. They can get the passing or the rushing touchdowns. Obviously, except Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers, they just throw the ball for a lot each game.
Yeah. So, but looking here at the top five, the only guy I could see dropping out of my top five would be Jalen Hurts and somebody like Brady, Rodgers, or Prescott moving up into that spot. Your thoughts on Hurts in Philadelphia?
I think Hurts and Jackson are both possible people not to be in the top 5 at the early projections here to be in the ending of the season. I look at people like Matt Stafford probably to be inside the top 5, just because it is his second year now with the team. It's only going to get better for him now with the team. And then I also look at people like Russell Wilson. New team, really good fast weapons, so I expect him to have a great year as well.
Yep. Cobra Gaming 569 stops by, says hello. Hello. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for saying hello. Yeah, Sean and I live stream every Thursday night at 7, every Sunday at noon, both Eastern time. Yeah, especially during the football season. But yeah, now during the off season, we'll start preparing for fantasy football season. Yeah, so let's, like I said, we have shared our quarterbacks. I'm going to make a page like that I just had on the screen for all the positions for everybody to download, or I'll make these available for download probably starting in June when I'm more comfortable where we're at. Let's just touch on the running backs real quick, Sean. I do have Taylor, Henry, Eckler, Cook, and Harris as the top 5. McCaffrey at 6. I still think that's too high for McCaffrey. Your thoughts? And there are some rumblings out of Carolina that they're trying to move him.
Yeah, McCaffrey, he's just a glass bubble. When is he going to break? So that's my only concern with him. Alvin Kamara down there, he's averaged a 9 position for draft, but I just don't know what kind of seasons he's going to have, especially with his legal issues. Is he going to play? Is it kind of like Watson? He's going to play for a year and then suspensions could happen. Even towards the bottom there at 8.2, Nick Chubb only projected 188 points with a brand new quarterback. That seems kind of low to me. I expect him to have a big year, especially inside the red zone. But with having a mobile quarterback now, that also could take a lot of touches away from him when Watson can just roll out and Chubb could be the running back that blocks. But other than that, the top 5 I pretty much agree with. Leonard Fournette, I think, should be going higher on boards to me, just for the sole purposes. He plays with Tom Brady. Tom Brady throws the ball a lot to his running backs. So for that purpose, I would want to have him as my running back, one of my running backs, because he's going to get the ball thrown to him a lot in a PPR league. And somebody I'm going to stay away from probably is like Aaron Jones and Antonio Gibson, just because their offense kind of is more of a pass-heavy offense.
Right, and look at the average draft positions to some of these guys. Like you said, McCaffrey going at 8. So yeah, like Josh Jacobs right now, his average draft position is 48. What do you think with that offense now? I don't know, and Jacobs doesn't seem to stay healthy either.
Yeah, I kind of agree with him being the 45 to 60 range, the late 4th round, or probably overall 5th to early 6th round kind of draft, just because there's so many other options you can take. Depending on what kind of team you have, if you're in a dynasty league, you're bringing people back. You already have some depth, maybe. There's a lot of people below him as well as Josh Jacobs that you could probably draft a lot later and be just as good overall. Like a Cam Akers, you might be able to draft him and be decent enough because him being on an offense that passes a lot. You also have Elijah Mitchell. He's going to be the clear-cut number 1. He won that starting role last year as a rookie. Even a Saquon Barkley, I wouldn't be too shy of drafting him before I draft Josh Jacobs, just because one, Barkley does play. He is really good. It's just when he is healthy.
I was just going to take a drink, and I realized one of our sponsors is Dubby. You can see it there at the bottom of the screen. I have this. I just finished this. They call it Dub Sludge. It's green apple. Oh, Sean, new favorite energy drink, bud. You should get yourself some.
Yeah, right now with me working outdoors in the heat, energy drinks is not my thing. Body Armors is my go-to, so you got to get them to be a sponsor.
Okay, well, when we get more than 500 followers, we'll we'll start looking into something else. But Saquon could be a great running back if he stayed healthy. I don't like him. I don't like him in that Giants offense, though.
I still think he gets traded
before the season, or what do you think?
I would say either before the season or before the trade deadline. He's coming up on that 5th-year contract option. They're not going to want to pay a guy that's not really playing a lot. I just don't know who I could really see him going to. I was starting to like Denver a lot, and then they brought back Melvin Gordon, so that kind of was like one of those, all right, well, he's out there. But I think he'd be a really good fit, truthfully, in Seattle, just because Pete Carroll played with Marshawn Lynch, and Saquon has a lot of familiarities of being Marshawn Lynch when he's healthy. Even Marshawn Lynch, he was really good when he was healthy and had a lot of injury years. So he could truthfully have the skills to be a good running back on an offense like that can run the ball a lot downhill.
Right. And where'd he go? Cobra Gaming. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for being active in the chat here. I just posted it over in the chat. Sean has set up a Yahoo free fantasy football league. Right now we have 6 teams signed up. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. Once we fill up or get closer to filling up, we have come up with some prizes that we will announce once we get to that point. But yeah, Sean, right now in running backs, I have Breece Hall as the number 1 rookie running back. Right now, no average draft position yet, according to Fantasy Pros. But right now, I do think he'll be the every down back for the Jets. But I have him at 839 yards and 6 touchdowns. Your thoughts on Breece Hall being the number 1 rookie running back?
Yeah, I could see him being a number one rookie running back just because New York's going to give him the starting opportunities. Um, a lot of the other running backs, I don't really see being a starter right off the bat. When when the projections started coming out, I kept telling you Brees Hall was going to be a first rounder, and he obviously fell out of the first round, but he fell right to the second round. And when your Jets snagged him, it was a great move overall just because I liked him a lot in this draft, especially on a draft that has more defense oriented players over offense. He was clear cut stud, and the Jets got a steal with getting him in the second round,
Mm-hmm.
honestly.
And the mock draft we did before our live stream on the first during the first round, and even the couple before that, you had Hall going in the first round of like Tampa Bay, and I know you changed it up a couple times, but yeah, like you said, the Jets getting him early in the second, what a steal! There were reports that they were trying to get back into the first again to get him. So I mean,
Yeah,
they already did that with Jermaine Johnson, the edge rusher, and then they were still trying to get up to the first to get Hall.
yeah, and honestly, I would have been shocked if they would have came in there in the first round, but them not needing to jump in the first round, I think was a good opportunity for them not have to do that and be able to stay in the second round, keep all their opportunities and picks, and to be able to get him still in the second round, knowing that people in front of them weren't going to draft him pretty much.
Yeah, so let's take a look here as well. Always a big name, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What do you think of him in Kansas City? I don't like him um, personally in that offense. Not for fantasy purposes, but what do you think? 773 yards, 5 touchdowns. Got a fairly easy schedule based off of last year's numbers, but I know he's got some injury concerns. Usually, your thoughts on CEH?
Yeah, that's my kind of concern is he's a lot of injury bones. He gets injured pretty easily, and when an offense like Kansas City, if you kind of don't come up and kind of take that role, you can get pretty much outplayed and lose your position pretty quickly. And I think overall in the last few years, you've seen that happen since he's been drafted. Like he started out great, then he got injured, and he kind of lost that starting job when he got injured, and so I think that with him, he needs to be fully healthy in order for everyone to kind of see him more and see him play more often and not be injured a lot.
Yeah, so let me just look down here. Your thoughts? We'll do mock draft here in a little bit, but your thoughts on Patterson right now projected to go the 95th pick. But yeah, your thoughts. Right now, we only have him projected combined for it looks like 720 yards and 8 touchdowns. Your
Yeah,
thoughts on Patterson?
I think that's really low. Honestly, if he slides outside the top 30 in overall picks, I'd be shocked in drafts. Just because of his pure speed, his ability to be able to play, to see the field really great. I think he's just honestly growing better as a running back than what he ever did as a receiver in the league.
Got you. So let's keep looking. Some more rookies here. Kenneth Walker going to Seattle. Do you have any thoughts of any of the other rookie running backs, and if they'll have any fantasy impacts this year?
The only other rookie running back I see being at fantasy impact would be James Cook in Buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
Just because Buffalo is always willing to change people out if they don't have great years. They kind of have a short leash. So I think with the running back situation with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary, James Cook's going to fit in right there right away
Mm-hmm.
and pretty much probably come and compete for a starting role right off the bat. And I think honestly that he could win that starting job right off the bat as well, just for pure talent that he has over, I think, Singletary and Zach Moss.
Yeah. So let me just see if we can touch on anybody else that might be too low. Um, no, I think that's
See,
it. Oh, go ahead.
for me, like when I draft fantasies, I always look at people like a Chuba Hubbard
Mm-hmm.
back up to McCaffrey. If McCaffrey gets injured, you want to have the backup. But not only that, if he gets traded or moved, or holds out, you kind of want to have that fill in place and who's going to take his spot. Just like with wide receivers, you always want to have like the second man guy just in case the first man guy is either holding out or injured. Kind of like Scary Terry in Washington, him holding out. If you get Jahan Dotson in a rookie draft, that could be a steal if he holds out for the beginning of the year.
Yeah, draft night. I was surprised where Dotson went. Just I thought he was a little early. We thought he'd be more towards the end of the first, early second, but he ends up going middle of the first there. But we'll get to the receivers here in a second. Yeah, once we're down to this point, it's pretty much a crapshoot. So then we got the wide receivers. We'll just touch on again quick. Yeah, Cup, Jefferson, and Adams, the top three. Your thoughts on the top three?
Yeah, I think they're the top three overall. The only person I think competing with the top three this year, if he stays healthy, is Keenan Allen. He's just a PPR machine.
Mm-hmm.
The guy gets the ball thrown a lot, and he doesn't have big plays, but he turns 10, 15-yard plays always into those 20, 25-yard plays.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy I'm really interested to see how he plays out the year is Michael Pittman. He has a new quarterback. What does
Right.
he kind of do with a new quarterback? 3 years in the league, and he has three different quarterbacks. So how does he play now in this year? Another one is Jalen Waddle. Tyreek Hill's on the team now.
Right.
So how much is that going to affect Waddle getting the ball? Is he not going to get the ball nearly as much? How's that going to work?
And I
So
believe they're kind of similar in their game. So,
yeah, exactly. So
somebody's losing touches.
yeah, exactly. So I think that could have affect a lot as well. So for that point, I see them being a major concern for me just because I'm not going to draft Waddle or Hill knowing the fact that they're splitting the ball 50-50 and in that 50-50 they still have to catch the ball 9 out of 10 times in
Mm-hmm.
order for to still be able to get points.
Uh, wide receiver in a new place, AJ Brown, going over to the Eagles. What do you think of the Eagles getting Brown?
I mean, you still have to have a quarterback able to throw the ball to him. That's my only concern. I mean, the Eagles quarterback situation has always been since Carson Wentz left. Can you get receivers that can catch the ball? And now it's can you have a quarterback that can throw the ball deep enough to get to the receivers you have? Um, I always thought Carson Wentz was never the issue in Philly. They replaced him, drafted Hurts, obviously, and Carson Wentz has gone places that has always needed receivers or needed help. I mean, he had a decent year last year in Indy. This year in Washington, I think he'll have a decent year as well. I mean, he's got good receivers that can throw the ball, but I still think that if the Eagles would have kept him around after his injury and all that, with the team that they have now, they could be competing for division easily and not questioning if they can even compete.
So a receiver to keep your eye on is Jerry Judy. I know he got in some trouble. I don't know from what I've seen. It doesn't look like it's anything too serious, but you don't know how the league will handle it. If you look here, last week when we talked, I had Michael Thomas on a different team. I don't know why, but that's why I'm still going through, making sure everything's okay. I got him on the right team now. But yeah, your thoughts on any of these guys out of this range here, from say McLaurin down to Juju Smith-Schuster. My favorite guy in that spot is St. Brown in Detroit.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what Marquise Brown does in Arizona.
Mm.
New team quarterback that's gonna not afraid to throw the ball up.
Oh,
So
especially with Hopkins being out the first 6 weeks.
yeah, exactly. Hopkins out the first 6 weeks, ex-college teammates, so they know how each other like routes and having a jump ball situation, how that works. So I look forward to seeing how Marquise Brown is. Um, he's only 84th overall ranked or average draft position, so that's really low for him, especially because Hopkins is out for the first 6 weeks.
Right, and that'll the average draft position I have on here is provided by Fantasy Pros. So I don't know how often they update their numbers there, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. How about after Juju Smith Schuster? some of the rookie quarterback. How about a guy like Alan Lazard in Green Bay?
Yeah, I look forward to seeing him have big season. Um, I think he'll have a good year, just for the purposes of Devontae Adams leaving. But again, the injury bug, you got to
Mhm.
stay healthy, and that's what a lot of these guys down this way are. They got to stay healthy.
So, and I got to go through because I can see already I'm missing some rookie designations next to, let's see, Drake London here is missing rookie. So let's look. We have Burks here, London, and Garrett Wilson here. Who do you think are any of these three guys the number one rookie fantasy wide receiver, or do you think it might be somebody else?
I look forward to seeing what Traylon Burks does with the team.
Mm-hmm.
The same with Chris Olave and John Dotson. I think all three rookies are going to have probably a breakout year. I wouldn't be shocked if one of them don't end up having 1,000-yard season as a rookie.
So yeah, I mean, like right now, I have Burks at 890, Wilson at 904, London at just about 900. So yeah, uh, Christian Watson going to Green Bay. I loved Watson in the draft. If the Jets, I thought the Jets would have went wide receiver in the second round, and he was the guy I was looking at, but Green Bay ends up getting him. Like you said, Olave going to New Orleans. I actually like that a lot. Sky Moore in Kansas City. Your thoughts there?
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of Tyreek Hill. So the speed and the size that he has, I think, is going to help a lot with Mahomes.
And there's Dotson. You talked about Dotson a little bit, but Jamison Williams in Detroit. Harold, who is usually here in the chat, is a Lions fan. I'd like to get his take as well. But yeah, your thoughts on Williams? I believe he's out half the year as well.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing how he plays when he comes in, especially with St. Brown. I think him and St. Brown are going to have a good role in being youth and helping Jared Goff a lot. So I think that'll be a key piece. And even below him, there you have Jahan Dotson. Shocking he's that low, especially because he is probably the number 2 receiver on the team. And with Carson Wentz throwing the ball, that's a big arm to throw the ball a lot, especially someone that throws or likes to throw deep routes.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on some of these other guys as well. I'm interested in see how Mechie does. I thought Mechie would have been a first round pick if he didn't get hurt this year as well. So he goes to Houston. So let's keep moving. Let's go over to tight ends. Right now, I have Kelsey as the number one tight end, but Andrews, Waller, Kittle, Schultz, Pitts, Goddard, Gasecki, and Hawkinson. Who past that point, say Ertz, Fryermuth, Fant, those guys, who's the most likely to move up, and who in the top is most likely to drop out?
I would say to two people I like to keep my eye on for being inside the top 10 by the end of year end is Fryermuth and Komet, just because they're both on a team that doesn't have a great receiving core. So I see them getting the ball a lot. People I can see falling outside the top 10, Kaseki. I kind of see him kind of like falling under the radar there in Miami. And honestly, George Kittle. If Jimmy G isn't the starter, I think you're gonna see a big downfall.
Gotcha. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. Let's look here. I do have kickers done as well. The kickers killed us last year in fantasy. On a weekly basis on Thursday nights when we give our initial reports, kickers, no matter what we said for kickers, this kicker is going to have a great night. This kicker is going to have a bad night. It would be completely opposite.
Yeah, I'm
So
never
we
predicting
have.
this position.
I just looked. We do have a rookie kicker here, projected this high. I didn't know that
Yeah, I'll never predict kicker situation again, just in defense,
at
just
all.
because every time I do, it's wrong.
And if you're in our mock drafts that we've done, we usually wait till the last two rounds to take kicker and defense. But if you had your choice of kicker, who are you taking? And if it's not who I think, who's your second kicker?
Evan McPherson, he's no doubtly my favorite kicker. Second is whoever is playing Sunday night or Monday night football and available, because it gives you that option to possibly be able to win it late in the fantasy weekend.
Yeah, Mike. If I had the chance to take any kicker, no matter what, I'm taking Tucker. But yeah, McPherson would be second on my list. So I agree with you there. Um, let's look at defenses real quick. Right now, I have Pittsburgh rated as the number one defense, which they are. They're a very good defense. Uh, play in a very tough division. Those games are going to be fun to watch as well. But yeah, any thoughts? Same thing, same kind of thing. If you had your choice of any defense, who you taking and why?
I'm probably going to go between the Rams and the Chargers, either LA team, just because they're both really good. I'm not a fan of the Steelers just because their defense does give up points a lot, especially in the division they play in. So just because they get a lot of sacks and turnover ratio is good, you give up a lot of points, and that's kind of a downfall for me because you always got to be concerned they're going to have 28, 29, 40 points in a game.
Yeah. So we keep taking a look at that. We looked at this as well. I'll get all those up and going. Before we do another fantasy mock draft, let's look at the USFL. Because of the draft and the schedule release, I really haven't been paying too much attention. But it looks like here the Generals and the Stallions, 4-1 and 5-0. Have you been watching? And has anybody stuck out to you? Let's look at some of the stats here.
I've kind of watched here and there. I haven't really sat there and watched a full game. Every time I watch it, there's no fans in the stands, and I think that's going to hurt this league a lot if you don't have anybody watching the games
Yeah,
other than on television.
well, that's the problem. Like you said, it's weird watching it with no fans in the stands, but their TV numbers are decent. So, how concerned are they? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how concerned they are with not making, uh, you know, money off of tickets and concessions there. So, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
agree.
Maybe now that we're halfway through that year, we'll start taking a deeper dive, look into that. We have some games this weekend. Let's see if anybody's playing. We'll have a game while we live stream on Sunday. So maybe we can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
The
of course.
Breakers and the Maulers. So everybody that's here watching, thank you. My name's John. That's Sean. We talk football every Thursday night and Sunday at noon Eastern time. We do provide fantasy football projections, and then during the season, we live stream at the same times, but giving you updates. Sean always stays up to date on all the injuries, and then answer your guys' questions on rosters and matchups that you guys might like as well. So give a follow here on Twitch or over on Twitter. We're at PA Fantasy Sports. We'll always interact with you guys. So even if you're here now, leave a comment. Have any questions? Post them there. But Sean, let's do another fantasy football mock draft. Let's see what we've done here. I believe we upped it to. Oh, we went 8 teams last time, so we have done 8, 10, and 12 teams now. In your opinion, what is the best size fantasy league?
I'm between 10 and 12. Either one of them in the right scenario is always a ability to have a good draft. It all comes down to if you're in a 12-man league, you don't want to have 10 roster spots on the bench, just because then your rosters are going to be so short-lived on
Right.
your free agency side of the ball. But other than that, I think 10 or 12 is the two best overall to have for fantasy, just because it's the right fit amount with the amount of players you can pick from.
Got you. So let's jump into another mock here. Of course, this season PPR. I depending on who it is inviting me, I won't play in a fantasy league if it's not PPR.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that one. It has to be nowadays.
Yeah. And so, how many teams do you want to do, and what draft position do you want to go?
We'll go back up to 10, and let's do pick 7.
7. Okay, so a little later in the first round. Let's start that. How's it look? Looks good on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Start your draft. So let's look. And we'll go through. Not every round we won't go through, but let's look. Taylor, I can see Taylor going number 1. If you're in a league and somebody takes McCaffrey number 2, they should just drop out of the league.
Yeah, I don't see that ever happening. I don't see how he could be worth a second overall pick right now. And 5 years ago, absolutely.
So
Nowadays, there's no
go
way.
ahead. Then we got Henry at 3, Eckler at 4, Cup at 5. That wouldn't surprise me. Harris at 6. So that puts us on the board at 7. I would go Dalvin Cook from your Vikings. But what would you do?
Yeah, I agree with that one completely. I would go definitely with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, so let's take Cook here. So let's look to see who came off the board after. Mixon, Williams from Denver. Because of that, I don't think Williams is a first-round pick.
I don't either, just because of sharing the ball.
Right. But Jefferson goes 10. And then Adams, Chase, and Fournette, the pick in front of us. But here we are, second round. We went running back in the first round. Where are we going in the second round?
I'm going to go with wide receiver. I'm going to go Stephon Diggs, just because the ability of how many times he's going to get the ball thrown his way. And he always finds a way to have the multiple score games. He always finds a way to do so many of those in a single season.
So we'll go Diggs there. I honestly would have went Swift there personally. I like to go running back heavy early if I can. But yeah, here we are in the third round. And let's see, the quarterback came off the board here. A tight end came off the board. A couple tight ends came off the board. So what are you thinking here in the third round?
I'm going to go with Nick Chubb right there. We waited to the third round to be able to get him, and that's honestly a shock to me, just because his ability to run and score and put up great numbers in a game.
So yeah, so let's take Chubb here. So okay, let's look at some of the guys that went off the board in front of us. Pitt's another tight end. So with so many of the top tight ends coming off the board, when do you start looking that direction?
We can look now and see who's all available and what is their average pick.
I mean, we're in the fourth round here. I know who I would take. But let's look. Tight ends: Kittle, Waller, Hawkinson, Goddard, Schultz still available. So with those names still on the board, I think we could wait on tight end. But I'll let
Absolutely,
you
I
make
think.
the call.
Yeah, I think let's look and see what kind of running backs are available.
Running backs available here. We got Montgomery, Akers, Gibson, Zeke, Josh Jacobs, J.K. Dobbins coming back from injury. But
I'm
go
actually gonna
ahead.
go. Let's go with a wide receiver, just because that's a bigger position to have. He's available right there. I actually want to go with Waddle.
Waddle, even though there's concerns with splitting time with Hill.
Yeah, he's still gonna be able to get enough touches, I think, for fantasy purposes, just to be able to make sure. Because if not, they could use him for jet sweeps or something to be able to get him the ball.
Got you. So let's look here as well. So here we are in the fifth round. The guy I would have taken in the fourth round is still on the board. But who are we going here in the fifth?
See, there's so many quarterbacks available down low where I actually would wait, even though Herbert's available. I think you could get better overall players, better to fill in voids that you have, than getting a quarterback in this scenario. That if it was me, so for that purposes, I'm going to draft my tight end here now, just because I don't want to wait too long and come off the board. I'm going to get Darren Waller, just because of the numbers he can put up in a season and in the game alone.
And with them adding Adams, Waller's going to be open all the time.
Absolutely, especially with Hunter Renfro as well.
Yeah, agreed. So let's go Waller there. So that takes us to the sixth round. Let's take a look at our roster. We've added Cook, Chubb, Diggs, Waddle, and Waller. That's a great start to a championship team there.
Yeah, let's look and see what kind of quarterbacks are available.
So, I could actually just do. Well, I don't. Let's not do that because there might be somebody else you're looking at. So we got
See,
Burrow, Hurts, Brady, Prescott.
yeah, there's so many people available yet that honestly I'm gonna wait yet to grab one.
Okay.
So I'm probably gonna go with a running back situation here, just because it's still the 6th round, trying to get a good deep depth in running back. Is Cordell Patterson still available?
Yes, he
Yep.
is.
See, yeah, let's grab him because he could do so much with the ball when it's in his hands.
Yep. I think Mariota's gonna love him.
I think so as well.
So that takes us to the 7th round. We got pretty good depth here on our roster so far. We filled all the starting spots for running back, wide receiver, tight end, and flex. So where are we going now?
Let's look at wide receivers, just because we never have too many of those. Let's get your boy right there, Amara.
I would love that here in the 7th round. Actually, I haven't been now just because this is a mock. I have not been paying attention to bye weeks.
Neither have I yet, just because obviously it is a mock. Um,
So
but now that we start going in bench
I
spots,
I looked at it. So right now, not bad. A running back and a wide receiver on the bye at 7, and a tight end and St. Brown on a bye at 6. So nothing too crazy yet.
yeah. So with that being said, I would probably grab a quarterback here just because he's available. If he's available, um, actually, there's still some names in between him getting picked. So actually, let's go back over to the wide receiver role, just because I saw he's still available. Even though he's out the first 6 weeks, to get DeAndre Hopkins when he is back, he's gonna get the ball thrown his way. He's gonna fill up an IR spot for the first 6 weeks or an inactive spot. So, but until then, when he does come back, he's gonna be worth the fill-in role, especially because his numbers he can't put up.
Ryan Cannon 18 says, "What up, guys? Ryan, how are you? Thanks for stopping by." Ryan did a community challenge for his channel where people had to donate points to him, and he made, I don't know, some kind of smoothie, um, and he posted that video today. Ryan, if you're still here, let us know in the chat how that went. I'll be watching that after our stream here tonight. But yeah, what kind of things? I donated channel points. I wanted to have him put a dirty diaper into the smoothie, but I don't think that made it. He says he threw up a lot, so I wonder. I'll check. Don't tell me what you put in it. I'll check that out. So yeah, guys, let's give a shout out to Rye Cannon. I'll do that here. Then we'll get back to our mock draft. Thanks for stopping by. Excuse me. So let's see what we've done here, man. We've definitely added some wide receiver depth, looking really good there. We have 3 good running backs with Patterson being available at running back. I don't know. he said the smoothie was equal to a dirty diaper. Oh man. So
But no, honestly, I'm just because we need running back help. I actually want to get a running back just because we do need the depth. We only have 3, or yeah, 3, and then we always want a 4th one. I'm actually gonna grab Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I know I said a lot of him being possible not being a good starter there, but until he gets injured, when he is healthy, he is a good running back to have just because he can see the field really easily.
yeah, so let's take a look here. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I still have it up here. I'm going to switch over for a second. Was this the running backs? Where did we have? Right now, average draft position 39.7. So waiting this long, not a big issue. You're getting them here at this would be about pick what 87?
97,
No,
97.
87. 90 players would be right here.
Yeah, true.
So not bad value here at all.
No, not at all. We're getting him pretty late.
Yep. So let's look at our roster again. Cook, Chubb, Patterson, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire at running back.
Yeah, in this role here, I'm going to draft my quarterback, and I'm going to be able to fill in that void,
Okay.
just so I have a good quarterback to play with. He's still available, and there's no reason why I wouldn't take him at any spot. Is Dak Prescott, just because the ability to throw the ball a lot.
Yeah, ability to throw the ball. And where do we have him? 81. Right now he's got an average draft position at 81. So
Yeah, so right about where we're going to get him now.
Another player that we're actually almost up to 95 picks. So not bad there. Dak Prescott. His best is 54. So getting him here is almost at 100 is great.
Absolutely. Now,
go ahead.
what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna go back to back quarterback picks, just because you want your depth piece to be a good piece. I'm gonna get Aaron Rodgers. You can't miss on having Aaron Rodgers to be a backup to Dak Prescott, just because if someone gets injured, you have that good guy to fill in that void.
Right, gotcha. And yeah, and somebody depending on, especially if you have Prescott and Rodgers, if a quarterback does get hurt during training camp, somebody in your fantasy league might be willing to give up some quality wide receivers or running backs to get a good, decent quarterback.
Absolutely, that's a good piece to think about having when you draft two good quarterbacks.
Yeah, so here we are in round 12, but we got quarterback taken care of, so we don't have to worry about that anymore. So let's look at our roster again. We still got to kick in. We don't have to worry about defensive kicker until late, but 2 more bench spots. So we don't need another quarterback, so we could go running back, wide receiver, or tight end, depending on what your league does.
Yeah, we're going to draft a backup tight end, just so we have him to Darren Waller. Pat Fryermuth is a guy to have. I think he's going to be a good player to have overall, just because of his size he can have, and I think for Pittsburgh, I think he's a good fit there as well, just because of his pure talent.
Got you. So let's take a look here. Fryermuth there. Fryermuth there. So now that we have quarterback and tight end backups taken care of, where do you go here? Because 14 and 15 will be kicker and defense.
Yeah, I'm going to look and see who do we have available at running back, and then maybe either that or jump over to wide receiver. See, there's no one really available there that's a starter role to me, so I'm not going to want to go there. So I'm going to go wide receiver, just because you never know what could happen. And I'm going to actually probably going to go and get someone that you wouldn't really think of having in drafting too very much this early. But I'm actually going to draft right there. You're on him, McCole Hardman, just because Tyreek's gone, and he's going to fill that void of being the size and speed that was similar to Tyreek.
So now we got 2 spots left, kicker and defense.
Yeah, let's get our defense out of the way. They're available right there. I actually want to get the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos, yep.
Yep, change it up.
The Broncos here. That means we'll go kicker in the last round here. See who's available. Your boy will probably be available. See what I don't like here? It's telling me suggested players. It knows we need a kicker, so why isn't it suggesting kickers?
I don't want to get a kicker, maybe.
Oh, it is. I just updated it. Any of those 4 guys?
Nah, I don't want to get any of them. I'm actually going to change it completely, and just because of the amount of times they're probably going to score this year, I think he's going to be good enough, is Jason Sanders out of Miami.
I don't know. I still think 2 is a big question mark down there.
Yeah, but Sanders has a good leg, so the ability to kick 50-yard field goals is really key, especially with their defense able to get the turnovers if they can't score touchdowns. Have the second best option.
So let's look here. They'll give us a grade. Sean, before I click draft, what do you think our grade is this time?
We're probably an F minus.
An F minus. A C, a 75 out of 100.
We didn't fail.
We didn't fail. I actually really like that team. Some great depth pieces that we could either use, keep for depth, or trade. If somebody's willing to give up. Say one of our running backs gets hurt, and somebody's willing to trade for Hopkins or Aaron Rodgers. So some depth pieces there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a key piece to have is a lot of depth, and we have that for sure with our team that we have built. And I like our team, and I think it could honestly take us to the chip.
Yeah, yep, I agree. I really like that team, and I'm gonna have to start paying more attention to bye weeks. So I know it's just a mock, but so yeah, that was we're almost here at the top of the hour. That was I don't know what was that like mock draft 4.0.
Probably like 7.0, truthfully.
Yeah. So yeah. So we'll have more coming up on our projections, and I will start making those available for you guys to either download or give you put the links in the chat for you guys to look at the web page as well. It's not really a web page. I just have it set up as a Google Sheet, but it looks like it gives you a web link so you can look at it without like it doesn't give the option to change anything. So yeah, Sean, your thoughts heading into OTAs. I know some teams are having OTAs. The Giants right now are one of those teams. Have the Vikings started OTAs?
I don't believe so. I think we start, on Monday, if I'm not mistaken. But I always look forward to seeing is how players play, start the OTAs, and if there's any key injuries. Last year, there was a lot of injuries that happened in OTAs. And so I look to see how those play out, if anything happens in those, just because that does affect a lot of not only fantasy numbers, but team overall could happen and have a big effect just because depending on who gets injured.
Yeah, so I just looked this up real quick from NFL.com. I'll put it back on the screen. Here's the things here. Rookie minicamp for the Cardinals is over. OTAs for them start next week. It looks like they have a couple different programs set up, and then minicamp starts the 14th through the 16th. Yeah, so it looks like most teams next week have
They're starting.
And I know training camp starts usually the end of July, I believe.
Yeah, it's usually around then is when it starts.
Let me see if I can find that as well. NFL training camp dates. Training camps. Well, the coverage. I'm surprised. Really, teams haven't filled out their dates and stuff.
Maybe it's one of those that their OTAs, they kind of decide when they could do them and have them.
Jaguars can have their veterans report no earlier than July 20th. Meanwhile, the Rams and Bills can report no earlier than the 23rd. The remaining 28 teams can have their veterans report no earlier than the 26th. So, it's just location. So yeah, like I said, around the end of July. So we'll keep updating our stats. We'll keep doing mock drafts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Sean, we'll be back Sunday, talking some of the free agents that have signed. Hopefully, we get some more signings over the next couple days. But your thoughts heading off into the rookie mini camps and OTAs.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see how people start gelling with their new teams,
Yeah.
with the rookies, and then seeing how they play out, and then as well as the people that have been there 2-3 years, how do they take those people under their wings?
Yeah, so we'll keep you up to date on all the news. We'll be back. We'll end a couple minutes early here, but we'll be back Sunday at noon. So make sure you hit that follow button. And Sean, enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll talk to you soon.
See you guys. See you on Sunday.